watch me now. Watch me now. Here I go.
Hello and welcome back to Big Business Energy. Today I am very, very excited for my guest. David, thank you for coming on.
My pleasure, mate. Nice to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And just to start us off, I always like to ask the question. You're going out on the night and you hop in an Uber and the Uber driver asks you, hey mate, what do you do for a living? What do you say?
Real estate agent.
Woo!
Yeah. They pull over and kick me out, you know.
Getting ready to do the sales deal
yeah,
on them.
exactly right. Yeah, probably expect a tip.
Yeah, that's it. Hey,
Happy to do so. A little 5-star rating.
Yeah.
Keep them sweet.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I let's take it all the way back, I suppose.
Sure.
How did you get into real estate? What was the thing that got you in?
Yeah, well, I was in hospitality industry for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And then once my kids came along, split shifts were just destroying me, you know, and you just couldn't be in so many places at once.
Yeah.
And I was looking after a table one night, and one of the guests that I was looking after was in commercial real estate, and he was a guest that was there quite frequently, so I got to know him after a while.
Yeah.
And he said, Dave, you would be absolutely brilliant at real estate. And I thought, yeah, well, a few people have sort of said that, but you know, dressing up in a suit and a tie and all that sort of thing wasn't really my thing back then.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another, and he said, look, just pop on in and see me one day and I'll run it through with you. So I did, and I found it really attractive. The commercial side of things wasn't quite for me at the time. It was a lot of numbers and spreadsheets and a world I didn't understand.
Yeah.
But normal resi real estate,
Yeah.
I understood that really well. So
That's awesome.
yeah, one thing led to another, and I decided hospitality is not for me anymore. I'll get into it, and
Yeah.
here we are today. Yeah, that was
And
about 15, 16 years ago now.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been that
yeah.
long. Wow. And so what was that transitional period of going on from like your previous job into real estate? Was it just directly full time or?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went in and I worked for a company where you basically become an appointment seller
Yep.
or setter to start with, which is what I actually still like today, believe it or not. But yeah, you would just sit there and book appointments for agents all day.
Awesome.
And
Cool.
yeah, learn how to prospect and
Yep.
I really struggled with the rejection at the beginning.
Yeah.
That was a tough gig,
I can imagine.
and but you know, it's helped me today.
100%. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of the skills that you can take away from any sales job, let alone real estate, are so transferable across everything, right? Like,
They are,
Yeah.
and it's usually the parts of the job that are the hardest or that you hate,
yes.
which is what helps you make money.
Yes.
Because they're the parts that people they sort of give up on.
That's it. They don't
They
want to
try-
do, so like,
they
I'd
don't,
rather
mate.
pay someone else to.
Yeah, exactly. And they try and reinvent the wheel, try and find an easier way.
Yeah.
And I've been guilty of that as well.
Yeah.
But it just comes back to the basics and doing lots of it,
Yeah.
consistently lots of it. Yeah.
So getting into it, what would you say was like that? Was that one of the biggest learning curves in getting into the real estate game, or?
Yeah. Probably the biggest learning curve for me was just continuously showing up,
Yeah.
putting up with the answer no, not taking it personally,
Yes.
and just running the numbers.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game, and it took me a while to convert. Like, I was never good. Anyone who worked with me in the real estate world when I first started knows I wasn't that good.
Yeah.
You know, I was quite a likable sort of a person, so I think that's why I kept my job in a lot of places for longer than I should have done.
Yeah.
So that probably helped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went close to break a number of times, and yeah, it wasn't until I realised, you know, I got 4 kids and debt and mortgages to pay and stuff like that, where I thought, well, you know, I really need to up this game a bit.
Yeah.
And I sort of thought to myself, well, what else do I do? You know, I don't want to go back to hospitality.
Yes.
And nothing wrong with that gig, but not at my age, you know.
Yeah.
So I figured, you know, I've got to make a career of this and take it seriously. So I did. Never
Yeah.
looked back, yeah. And I literally doubled and tripled what I was doing within 12, 18 months.
That's
And just
awesome.
continued that formula, yeah.
I find it super fascinating how you hear all these stories about, whether it's yourself or even people like Dwayne Johnson and things like that, how in the moment when they're like considered, you know, where they're in between a rock and a hard place or things like that. And then they come back and they fucking kill it and they do better and better. And they're like, it's either this or the highway. Like there's no other option. I got to do this.
Yeah.
And they come back and absolutely kill it. So
absolutely.
Awesome.
And you look at what you're doing and you may hate the rejection side of it and working your ass off and not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Or you get a little bit, but not enough because you have an expectation of what you wanted to achieve by a certain time frame or a certain age or whatever the case it is. And you realise you haven't got it or you've fallen behind and you sort of think, well, what the fuck do I have to do to to improve this?
Yeah.
And when you look at the alternative, if I was to give this away and go back to what I was doing or find something else that would give me the opportunity to earn more,
yes,
there's not a lot out there unless you go back and study or whatever the case may be. And
that's it.
That wasn't really an option for me, not from a timeline or time frame point of view.
Didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense, mate. It just made sense to man up, grow a set, and just double down what I was doing or knew how to do.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly paid off because look at where things are going now. Like
so
it's
far
awesome.
so good.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And so getting into that real estate game, I guess, anyone who is looking to become a realtor or anything like that, what would be your advice for them?
Look, if I was new coming into the industry, pretty exciting time to come into it. I mean, the technology side of what's out there today.
That's literally my next question is do you think it's even
I'll
good?
touch on that for you for sure.
Yeah.
But, if I was coming in, I wouldn't come in by myself and try and start as a standalone agent. I would definitely come in and pick. First of all, I'd pick an area I'd want to work in. Secondly, I'd try and identify who I was and what I wanted to perceive. And then I would try and associate myself with a brand or an agent, because sometimes a really good agent may not be working with the brand you like, but you'll soon learn to love that brand if the agent's helping navigate you where you want to be.
100%.
So definitely try and attach yourself with an agent that you gel with, and that you can work together, because if you're doing well, he or she will too.
Yes.
And they will automatically want you to succeed, because it works
a win-win,
both.
right?
It's a win-win, works both ways. You can't use anyone in this gig.
Yes.
You don't last for long if you do. And we've seen them happen over the years. People come in and, try and steal all the ideas or the data or whatever, and then try and move on to a bigger or better place. And you Google them and they're JB Hi-Fi now. You know? I mean, they never last.
Yeah.
So if you want to make good money and make a great career, associate yourself with someone that you want to be like, not necessarily mimic them, but someone that you just gel with, because you're going to be working with them all the time.
Yes.
6 days a week.
Yep.
You may not physically see them every day, but you're going to be on the blower.
Yes.
Texting each other.
Yep.
You got to like each other.
You almost see them more than your partner.
You do, mate. You do. And you've got to be just as passionate about helping their career as what they will be to help you.
Yeah.
And once it's reciprocated,
I was about to say,
really
I think once both parties sort of like that, give and that take, and then you also it just becomes a lot more of a tight-knit team. You're willing to go above and beyond for that person.
Very much so.
Right? Like,
you cover each other. It's like a partnership, you know. And
that's it.
once you got each other's back, and you learn a lot too.
Yes.
Yeah, that way.
And so from that point, what are some, because I think we've all seen it where there's a lot of glorified aspects of the job. You see the Emils and the Gavin Rubensteins and all these sort of big ones who glorify it. But I guess I wouldn't say a dark side, but what are some, I guess, the things that are sort of the scene behind the curtain, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a pretty valid point that you point out there, because a lot of people will see Lux listings or
$1 million listings,
$1 million listings, and all the different ones, the block, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
and they'll see all these good-looking agents.
Yeah. Oh, they think they're going to be the next Ryan
smoking hot
Serhant
PAs, and they got the Aston Martin parked out the front and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's no question you can have all that if you're good, but that's 1% of the industry. The other 99% are working hard to get to that 1%. So it can be excellent, but it doesn't happen immediately. And there's a lot of hard work. The dark side of is you will be married to your job more than your girlfriend or your wife or your boyfriend, partner, whatever. You don't get down on yourself, but your persona will be tested.
Yeah, right.
It's normal for human beings not to want rejection.
Yes.
This job's full of it, guys and girls, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Just get used to it, but don't take it personally.
Yes.
My career changed overnight when I didn't take no personally.
Yeah.
You just phoned him at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm not fucking selling today, mate. I'm busy.
Yeah.
I've got to drop the kids off to dancing. I've got to pick this up, and I got my boss yelling at me. I don't want to talk to a real estate agent today.
Yes. Yeah.
But 3 months later,
Yeah.
this poor prick's getting divorced.
Yeah.
If I had phoned him then, he
Yeah.
would have said yes to me.
Yes.
It's all in the timing. That's why you run the numbers.
Yeah.
So, but getting back to your question, mate, you work long hours
Yeah.
to start with. Doesn't have to be like that because technology will give you a lot of time back. But
Yeah.
you've got to work hard, get your brand out there, get used to rejection. It's not physically hard job. You know, we're not laying bricks or building houses. We're selling them.
Yeah.
You just got to talk to a lot of people and be pleasant.
Yeah.
Just be pleasant. Don't be a wanker.
I was about to say, do you know how hard that is? It's
Oh,
getting rare and
mate,
rarer to just be a
it's
down-to-earth
just-
human being.
There's something about putting a suit jacket on someone
Yeah.
and they become an idiot,
Yeah.
you know, and they think they're more important than they are, and
Yes.
they just speak shit
Yeah.
because we're in an industry where you only get paid if you successfully sell something.
Yeah.
We're not on salaries
Yeah.
unless you knew, because the law is now you have to
Pay them. Yeah.
pay them, until they can sort of produce for themselves. But
Yeah.
so it's a dog eat dog world. If you don't
Yeah.
if you don't get the business and sell it, you don't get paid, mate. You're unemployed. So there's a lot of people there telling things they shouldn't do to get the business, and that's why real estate agents have the reputation they have in some cases. So
Yeah.
keep yourself clean,
Yes.
be upfront, just be a normal be the person you were before you became an agent.
Yeah.
Just be normal.
Exactly.
Do it with a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Don't treat people like shit. Don't lie to them.
That's it.
Tell it as it is. Their house is too dear. Tell them.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that's
hey,
it.
mate, I told you your house was worth $1 million. I kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Had rosy glasses on. It's really 900. Sorry.
Yeah. And then 9 times out of 10, they should often
They
respect you
will.
more for it.
They
Like,
will.
Yeah.
They will. You know, if you just put your hand up and say, mate, I made a mistake. I got a bit carried away. Got excited.
Yeah.
Fell in love with your place. What you wanted to do. Your dreams. I became part of it in my head.
Yeah.
When I quoted you on your price, I got a little carried away.
Yeah.
You know, my fault.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen all the time, but it can.
Yeah.
When it does, you just got to identify that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But people don't.
Yeah.
They just purposely lie
Yes.
to every listing to get the job.
Yeah. It's wrong.
That's where it all
hey?
goes downhill, mate.
Yeah. And so I guess then to flip that on the coin, what would be some of the, advice to potential sellers that are looking then to enlist an agent? What are things to look out for?
Yeah, definitely. Choose an agent. Choose an agent on not always results, but definitely on past dealings with other people. So check out their reviews, do online interview with them. You know, check out their socials, check out their past sales. Are the houses they're selling photographed well, represented well? Test them. You know.
Yes.
Call them, send them email inquiry, see how long it takes for
Response, yeah.
and do you get the answer you want?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people will ring up and ask for a price on a home, and mate, it's like trying to pull teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, at least give them a range.
Yeah, exactly.
You think it's north of this or whatever.
Yeah.
Just don't say, well, it's whatever the market will pay. You know, that turns people off.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest that if you just keep it level-headed like that,
Yeah.
makes a massive difference. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then what about, obviously you're in the market now, like what do you sort of see in terms of like for buyers, do you think it's the right time? Like what would be your advice for them buyers in this market?
At the moment, for the foreseeable future, there's always going to be a supply and demand issue in Brisbane.
Yeah.
It's a super popular city. The whole of southeast Queensland, from the sunny coast.
It's crazy, hey?
Oh,
it's
it is,
starting.
mate.
It's starting to
Everyone
boom,
wants
and
to
then with
be
the
here.
Olympics coming too.
Yeah,
now, like,
exactly right. And you know, there's quite a few hundred people a week moving into the city,
Yeah.
and they need somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
We got immigration coming in from overseas, obviously, because we need labour and jobs and all that sort of stuff, and they all have to have somewhere to live.
Yeah.
So, and we're never going to be able to build as a society in the foreseeable future. We're not going to be able to build enough houses
Yes.
to keep up with demand unless us as a society get used to going up,
Yes.
not out.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is a lot of what you're seeing a lot of these big cities have to
It
do in
is.
Japan and
yeah,
and China and
absolutely.
these sorts of
You're
things.
going to have to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have to get used to driving 2 hours
Yes.
to a house that's affordable
Yeah.
and then come in.
Yeah, which
Not
is
everyone wants
already
to do
starting
that.
to happen.
Yeah, exactly right. So everyone says, you know, we've got a housing problem, let's fix it. But then you can't knock over the trees because people will complain that, you know, that's not environmentally friendly. So what do?
Yeah,
Then you've got to build up. And then
That's
people
it.
say, well, you can't build up because I don't want that to happen in my suburb.
yeah.
So it's very difficult to find an answer. I'd hate to be in government
yeah,
because
yeah.
you can't please everyone.
It's true.
And everyone's right. Like I wouldn't want a high-rise tower in my next to my house.
That's it.
But I know that's the answer.
Yeah,
I don't want to see trees knocked down and koalas not have a place to live.
yeah. I agree.
You know, at the end of the day, what do?
That's it.
The
It's
house
tough,
I
mate.
live in today, it used to be bush.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah,
And anyone out there who thinks differently, they're the same.
yeah. Exactly.
So as far as to get back to your question though, for buyers, my suggestion would be don't necessarily buy a home close to where you work because we've found that most people don't stay in the location or the job they're at
yeah,
for a long extended period of time. So your job is more transit than your house will be.
yes,
So buy a house that's affordable, that you really love,
yeah,
and in an area you can afford
yeah,
without overcapitalising. And it may not be in the ideal suburb that you want straight away, or it may not even be the ideal house.
yeah.
At least you've got a roof over your head.
Love
You've
that.
got somewhere where you can come home, somewhere you can call your own place.
Yeah.
And if you're under 35, you've got years to go.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
if you're not in your ideal, your friends and family aren't going to give a shit.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
they come over to see you, they're coming over to see you.
Yeah,
They're coming over to have a barbecue at your place,
that's it.
see your kids, hang out with you. They
Yeah.
don't give a fuck what your house looks like.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
they care about you.
Yeah,
So don't buy a house to impress anyone.
yeah,
Buy a house to call it home. And then when you got the shits with it, or you're earning more money, or you got equity and you can upgrade, then do that.
love that. That was
Yeah.
an epic answer.
That would be my advice. Yeah, don't buy to impress.
And so I guess what are some of the things that people should look out for when they are then going to buy that property? Like you said, the location.
Yeah.
You said it's really important as well to then obviously not overcapitalize.
Yep.
Can you just touch on what that means for people?
Absolutely. So you might be with a girlfriend or a boyfriend and go to the bank and they might say, hey, listen, guys, you can borrow 800 grand. But secretly in the back of your head, you're hoping you'll fall pregnant or have a kid. She may not be with work
Yeah.
for a period of time. All of a sudden, you can't service that loan. Then you're in financial stress and pressure. Once a couple are under financial pressure, they kind of,
Yeah.
it all tears.
Gets a bit
It
rocky.
gets a bit yucky, you
Yeah.
know. So think of where your 5 years are going to be and then make your plans based on that. So if you kind of know or if you're kind of hoping to start a family, try and work out, rightio, the bank says we can borrow 800 grand together as a joint income, but really in 3 years' time, it's just going to be mine or hers. What's doable then?
Yeah.
That would be my advice. As far as location is concerned, do your due diligence through your solicitor. And if it's an agent you trust and like, then obviously he or she will be able to help answer a lot of questions. You know, is it in a flooding area?
Yes.
You know, is a main road going to be extended? Is a railway line going to be put in behind it? You know, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Just check the zonings and everything like that. Brisbane's pretty good with that sort of stuff. You can get easy access to all that and usually have those answers within 14 days.
Yeah, awesome.
If you know the right people to ask. So it's not a long drawn out issue at all.
Yeah. And then what do you see, I guess, just from a perspective of, do you see people, I guess, buying new houses or buying old existing houses, renovating? Like, what do you sort of see?
Yeah, a little bit of everything, actually.
Yeah.
And there's force and against for everything.
Of course, yeah.
We're finding more and more people are headed towards established homes at the moment.
Yeah.
You just can't get tradies or builds,
Yeah.
you know, and a good one. Like a good tradie, they may not even be able to get out to quote you
Yeah,
for
that's
2
it.
months.
Yeah.
And then they might say, we can't even start your job for another 4 on top of that.
And then you'll get a deep shock when they tell you the price of it.
Yeah,
too.
and the quotes on materials
Yeah.
might be, you know, whatever today, but in 8 months' time when they're ready to start the job, it could be up again.
That's it.
Or that part may not even be there anymore.
Yeah.
So, or you've got to reconfigure. There's building companies that are going bust.
Yeah. Crazy.
Hard to find good labour.
Yeah.
So the build costs are never on, and the timing's never on time.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, we can have your place ready by the 15th of September.
Mm-hmm.
Next minute you get an email, oh, by the way, it's now the 8th of January.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're paying extra rent, and you're
Yep.
paying this, and it all adds up. It's not just the materials, it's your
That's
rent that you have to pay for the extra amount of time, or if you're living with your parents, you think, oh God, here we go again. I've got another 6 months with the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of stuff.
Sounds like you're explaining my life right
Yeah,
now. Like, it's super
probably
weird.
explaining a lot of people's lives at the moment, you know. The new builds, look, everyone loves a new home.
Yeah.
I love a new home. Nothing nicer.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people's dream, you know, is to build their own home. And I still encourage it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
mate, there's some cracking. You go through a display home
Oh, yeah.
and
Super nice.
you drive home to your own place. It's pretty depressing.
Yeah.
You know, so new builds are very popular.
Yeah.
But bit of a risk for some people.
Yeah.
For others, they might be renting for a period of time. They don't care. You know, they've got all the time in the world. And if that's the case, I'm not discouraging a new build by any stretch. You know, it's a pretty good thing. And we got to have new builds.
Yeah, that's true.
High-rise inner city apartments and townhouses are becoming really popular at the moment.
Yeah.
It's very affordable for people. And
Yeah.
God, those products are becoming beautiful.
Aren't they?
Have you seen some of those townhouses out there? Like, they are mega.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
yeah.
Super,
and
super
they still cost a reasonable amount of money, depending on the suburb you're buying in.
Yes.
But what's happening in a lot of suburbs at the moment is they're becoming little micro
Yes.
villages almost.
Yes.
You know,
I've seen
you take your Evan Parks and your Indooroopillies and your Toowongs and West End and Tenerifes and all those areas. They've got these little hubs in Balimba.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, you can work from home 2 days a week.
Yeah.
You can walk down, grab a coffee at a breakfast or a lunch
your
at a cafe,
shopping,
do
yeah.
your shopping,
Yeah.
enjoy the shops and the atmosphere,
Yeah.
walk back. Why wouldn't you want to buy a townhouse in those little hubs?
100%.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's affordable.
Yep.
Then when you expand, you want a bigger house, you can rent it out.
That's
Got
it.
enough equity to borrow.
Yep.
It's a no-brainer to me. That's
100%.
what I'd be doing.
Yeah. No, it sounds awesome. And so just on that note of like the rental and thing, can you touch on that then? We've just talked about the buying. Can we talk about the renting side of things?
Sure, yeah. Mate, I wouldn't want to be a renter.
That was short and sweet. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's a tough gig. But don't let it get you down. Like everything in real estate, it's a cycle.
Yeah.
And what we're finding over time, to explain what's happened in the rental market, and different people have different opinions, but this is my take and view on it from seeing it firsthand. Back when sort of the whole COVID, I'm sick of the COVID word,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but back at that era,
Yeah.
we found a lot of people from down south couldn't afford to buy in Sydney and Melbourne anymore.
Yeah.
So they decided to rent in the areas they loved down there, but purchase up here in Brisbane
Okay. Yeah.
because it made financial sense to do so.
Yeah.
So they Googled nicer suburbs in Brisbane and all the inner city ones come up,
Yes.
as you would expect, like any city anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So they started researching and buying in those suburbs.
Yeah.
So they then knocked out the local buyers that would normally buy in that area, and they would then move out to the next layer.
Yes.
And then they would knock out all the local buyers that would normally buy in there and kept going out and out and out.
Yeah. Right.
So what had happened was, and then that's what bumped the prices up in Brisbane. That's why we're always 3, 4, 5 months behind
Yep. Everywhere
Sydney and
else.
Melbourne. Yeah. And what that did was that increased the prices
Yeah.
and made everything a bit crazy up here. So
Yes.
if you owned a home, it was excellent.
Yeah.
But then what happened was the Reserve Bank, as we all know, had interest rates next to nothing.
Yep.
You know, you borrow $100,000 and it costs you next to nothing to pay it back.
That's it.
So a lot of renters were saying to themselves, you know what? We can actually afford to buy a house now instead of rent.
Yeah.
So they left the rental properties and went and bought houses,
Yeah.
which caused contributed to the shortage,
Yes.
if that made sense. So more people were going out and buying all these homes.
Yes.
Now, over the last 15, 20 years, there's a lot of investors out there that bought properties on, you know, the off the plan type schemes and everything,
Yeah.
where they paid $400,000 for a home and 10 years later it's still worth 400,
Yeah.
or, you know, 450 maybe.
Yeah.
So the return on investment was pretty weak.
Yeah.
So a lot of these investors, now the boom came, they thought, wow, I'm out now. You know, it's gone from 400 to 600.
100%.
I'm cashing
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So a lot of investors sold their homes. A lot of the tenants bought them,
Yeah. Right.
which didn't leave a lot to be rented out.
Yes.
And that's what was happening. And a lot of people were splitting up and going their own way or breaking, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So now one unit in one house became 2 people in 2 houses
Yeah. Right.
trying to rent. So that's what contributed to where we are today
Yeah.
with the rental crisis.
I mean, it makes total sense when you explain it like
is,
that. But
yeah.
like, yeah.
Now, some people may not agree with me.
Yeah.
Different data, but I can tell you, on the ground, that's what's happened.
Yeah, right.
And it will all work itself out eventually.
Yeah.
Everything always does.
Yeah.
But again, it gets back to supply and demand.
And what's your train of thought in thinking, like, how long are you thinking that's going to take to sort of balance back out for both, whether it's buying, selling, or renting?
Yeah. I'm going to guess because I don't know the answer.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
If I was a betting man,
Mm-hmm.
a little sport bet, if you're listening.
Yeah, hang on. Let me get my notes. Yeah.
You're listening to me.
Yeah.
I would say the rental side of things is starting to get better now.
Yeah.
When I say get better now, it's not as crazy as it was.
Mhm.
It's still difficult, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
I can see the whole of Brisbane starting to get to a little bit more normality again now.
Yeah.
We're seeing less people at open homes.
Okay.
There used to be 40 buyers coming through an open home. Now there's 15, 20.
Yeah, okay.
They're still buying.
Mm.
They've still got the money, but it's not the frenzy that there once was. The rental market is showing signs of that as well.
Yeah.
But again, Brisbane's very different.
Yeah.
It's different suburbs.
Yeah.
Like you try getting a rental in St. Lucia near the uni in January or Christmas, you can't.
Yeah. Good fucking luck.
Yeah, good luck, because everyone's trying to get their kids in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you go and try and get a rental out, 30 kilometres west of Brisbane,
Yeah.
piece of cake.
100%.
So it depends on where you are.
Yes.
As far as that's concerned. So yeah, but I think as a city in general, it's starting to even itself out a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah.
And so, just out of curiosity, because you spoke about it just then as well, like, what do you find, like, and I don't know whether you want to answer this or not, what do you find is the most common reason for sellers to sell? Like, what is it, that thing of the relationship hasn't quite worked out, or their investment? What's the...
Yeah. The reasons, or the major reasons for people selling their homes has never really changed. Probably separation has increased a little bit.
Yeah.
So people will always generally only ever sell for a few reasons. Number one, they've either outgrown the home,
Mm-hmm.
more kids have come along and they need a bigger place.
Yeah.
Job relocation or a school catchment zone.
Mhm.
So they might be living in a particular area, don't want their kids to go to that school.
Yeah.
So they want to go to a nicer school, so they'll sell to upsize or upgrade into a catchment zone.
Yeah.
Separation is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing that. I would say a third of our business would be that.
Yeah. Wow.
Probably more.
Wow. Okay.
I reckon since the Tinder app came along, my business
That's when you
increased.
predicted it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I haven't got shares in Tinder. It's just the thing, isn't it? Everything has an expiry date.
Yeah.
And downsizes.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of people, same thing. Kids have left,
Yeah.
or they don't need to be in that area anymore
Yeah.
because the kids are gone.
Yeah.
They don't need the big high set place.
That's it. Yeah. It's only
Um,
them now. Like,
Yeah, mate. So they think, let's go to the coast.
Yeah.
Let's go and get a little bit of acreage and have
Yeah.
the dogs and a ride on mower and just drink beer and swim in the pool.
100%.
So lifestyle choices will be there, but they're the main reasons. I don't think they'll ever change.
Yeah. Okay.
I really don't. I think we'll probably see definitely some financial pressure
Yep.
coming on with these interest rates and stuff. They're not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
Cost of living's insane. I don't know about you, but
Oh, yeah.
I got 6 in my family. You go to Coles or Woolies and you come out and you look at the thing.
Yeah. You're like, which kidney am I going to get rid of?
That's right. Like that never used to happen,
Yeah,
And if that's happening to me, it's happening to everyone else.
100%.
Yeah. And petrol, look at petrol.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you used to go to Macca's because it was cheap.
I know, and now,
Now, mate,
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. It's insane. You need to mortgage your house.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's you used to be able to go to the local bakery
Yeah.
and you'd buy everyone pie and a chocolate milk or a can
That's
of
it.
Coke or something like that, and now it costs you a fortune, mate.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah, it does.
And it's like you said, I think there's so many people that are feeling that as well. and,
Definitely, yeah.
Now, I wanted to talk about this because this is one of the main reasons that I wanted to get you on is that of your social media presence.
Sure.
And I think that you do a very good job in leveraging your social media and doing, it caught my attention, for example. So, which is
Yeah, that's how
big.
got in touch with each
Exactly.
other.
So that's how we connected. And I think like that should go to show Miles, like, you know, I'm in this industry all the time and being able to, you know, I see fucking everyone's content, you know, so being able to see someone who actually stands out is like pretty rare. So I think I'd love to touch on, like, obviously you've got some great people that assist in doing that content with you behind the scenes as well. But can you just touch on the, I guess, how do I want to put this, the importance of content within real estate?
For me, content's pretty important.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. If people are going to follow you on social or connect with you on social, you've got to give them a reason to want to be part of your circle.
100%. Yeah.
So if you're just blasting out shit all the time, they'll disconnect with you.
Yes.
So I'll think you're not really giving me any value, or you're becoming a bit annoying now. Like there's only so many for sale signs or just coming soons.
Agreed.
Now I'm getting the shits with it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I used to have hundreds and hundreds of real estate agents follow me, and my whole page, mate, was just coming soon. I think, mate, I'm on social for that.
Yeah.
To be social. I want to see what my friends are up to and where they've gone and different adventures and exciting stuff. I don't want to see a soul board.
Yeah.
So, you know, delete, you know.
It almost comes back to what you said at the start.
And I think if I'm doing it,
like,
what are other people doing?
Literally.
That aren't even in real estate mode.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So I figured with me, the way I was going to go was the content was going to be a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
It was going to be some fast facts or something that you sort of thought, oh, if ever I go to buy, I never would have thought of doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I do a bit of that. So even if you're not in real estate mode, you'll look at it and think, oh, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm going to keep
Like,
that in the back of my head.
Like I'm not in the market for buying a car at the moment.
Yeah.
But I will be.
Yeah.
So if I'm following someone and they say, before you buy a car, make sure you do this, I think, oh, shit, yeah, I'll do that. I didn't think of that, you know.
It's clever.
So then that person would come front of mind to me because I thought, you know,
dropping that
they
seed,
kind of
right?
helped me when I didn't even want help, you know.
Yeah.
So content, I do fast fact kind of stuff like that. I then try and do some entertaining stuff, whether it's making a fool of myself or doing something informative.
Yes.
And I like to do that in video format because it's captivating.
Yes.
I think still imagery is excellent and I find it attractive and I still look at it and I still do it.
Yeah, likewise.
But video is engaging sometimes too.
Yeah.
And not everyone will watch your video because they don't have time, or they might be having a scroll, think, oh, that's interesting. They go to watch it, and the next minute the boss starts walking down the thing and they think, oh, I'll get back to it, and they never do. That's life.
Yeah.
But video format's important to me.
Yeah.
And just information-based content really is what I do.
Yeah.
I just sort of give, put it out there.
That's it. Which I think is
poke
one
the
of the
bear
better.
a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's one of the better formats of content to produce.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're bringing that value to people and things like that. You're giving them a reason to stick around.
Yeah. And it's a good way for them to get to know who you are. They sort of feel like
100%.
I felt like I knew you quite well.
Yeah, it was
You know,
sort of weird,
because
wasn't
we've
it?
engaged with each other
Yeah.
through our phones.
Yeah.
And then I met you. It's like I've known you for a long time.
Yes.
And I feel very comfortable talking to you today because of that.
Yeah.
I think that's
likewise.
what social media does.
I agree.
Social media gives you a way, you get to hear their voice, see how they act, their body language. Now, some people may not like me and then delete me.
Yeah.
But that's fine because they would have done that if they met me in person anyhow, because the person you see on the video is the same person as you see in real life.
Exactly. You hope so. And that's what I think I like the most.
Pretty important to get that part right, you
I
know.
agree.
We don't put any filters on anything.
That's it.
You know, if I'm having a bad hair day and it's been windy outside, mate, that's what you see.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the way I prefer it to be as well. Getting back to real estate, how many times do you drive down a main road and you see a bus stop, and you see an agent and you think, oh, mate,
Yeah.
how good's that?
Yeah.
And you meet them in real life and you think, whoa, that shot must have been taken 20 years ago.
Yeah, literally.
So I just think,
Yeah. Yeah.
put myself under the basket, you know. And I just think got to keep it real.
Yes.
People don't like what we do at the best of times.
Yeah.
You know, from a likability point of view, you know, solicitors, real estate agents, everyone loves to hate on you.
Of course.
They
Yeah.
hate on you. You know. So I think if you can keep things real and have people think, you know what, he's actually a decent bloke.
Yeah.
Like he's no different to me.
Yeah.
It's just that instead of doing your job,
He does real estate. Yeah.
he does real estate and he gets told to get fucked every day. So I kind of respect to him, you know, and just like I would be respect to someone who lays bricks all day or builds. I just think, mate, hats off to you. I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
You're
likewise.
stronger and better than I am.
That's it.
And so you end up with a mutual respect because people sort of think,
Yeah.
it's not an arsehole.
No, I
So that's
love
why I
that.
try and keep it normal. But to keep it entertaining for people to want to keep engaging with you, you gotta
Up it again. Yeah.
you got to do a little bit better than just recording from your iPhone.
Yes.
That's cool, but it can't be all the time.
So that's another thing I wanted to touch on. So yeah, like you said, that's one of the things I got from your content is when you do it, like you said, you're so down to earth and it is what it is sort of thing. You don't take yourself, very seriously. And it's sort of, like you said, it's a human being to human being because you get a lot of the other ones that, won't name names, but,
Yep.
they are sort of about where they think they're the top shit and they're
Yep.
the best,
Yep.
this and that.
And you never ever top shit forever.
Exactly.
So you might ride it while times are good,
Yeah.
but then in 2 or 3 years' time, when someone's taken you out or you've dropped down,
Yep.
it's embarrassing.
100%.
And then where do you go with your social media or where do you go with your career?
Exactly.
The old saying, you can be a rooster one day and a feather duster the next.
That's it.
Just keep it real.
Yeah.
And most people who watch my stuff wouldn't know if I'm number 1 in my area or number 10. They would have no idea, and nor would they care,
Yeah.
because they know that I've got the social proof. I know how to sell houses.
Exactly.
We get great prices, and we look after buyers, and we look after sellers.
Yeah.
People would engage us for us. They wouldn't care if we're number 1 in an area or number 10.
Yeah.
Just as long as we do the right thing by them.
Exactly.
Because the result will always be dependent on the process you use and the marketplace you're in at the time and
Yes.
all that kind of stuff. But if you've got someone who knows what they're doing,
Yes.
it'll work, whether you're number 1 or number 10.
100%.
But no one cares if you're number 1 or number 10 if they like you as a person.
That's it.
So it's really, really important not to let your ego get in the way.
Yeah. How many times do you think you said 1 or 10 and then just then?
Probably 10.
So as we come to, I guess, wrap this up, I guess the last thing I wanted to touch on in regards to socials, what was, I guess, one of the reasons why you decided to, I guess, outsource and take it a bit more serious?
Purely because I knew if I'd left it just for me, it wouldn't get done as consistently as I do
Yeah.
and as well as it's being done.
Yes.
So I had to engage in someone that would be able to navigate how all that looked. I'm not technically that clever.
Yeah.
But if you throw me in front of camera, I'll have a go at it.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy to experiment with different ways of doing things, like our street talks and stuff that we've done.
Yeah.
And then the different informational side of things. And some have worked and some haven't.
Yeah, of course.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I outsource for the editing side of things and just to basically make everything look so much better than I could myself.
Yeah.
And to springboard ideas. I think that's really good.
Definitely.
Shoot things from different angles.
That's it.
Make it entertaining. You've got to be entertaining. Social media is all about entertainment.
That is,
you know?
yes.
It's getting information across to the audience in an entertaining way.
Yes.
If you don't do that, you lose followers.
100%.
And all my stuff, you can look, like if you scroll across and see how many people view, and there's some agents out there that do it beautifully, I don't have a huge amount of followers, but I have an insane amount of engagement.
Yeah.
Like
Which is fantastic.
The amount
yeah.
of people that some of the stuff on my TikTok has gone, crazy amounts of viewings, and same with
Awesome.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And Instagram's the same, like my average thing that I'll post,
Yeah.
video wise, will get 1, 2, 3,000 views.
Epic.
And you see others, and they might get 100.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook, they're all weird at the moment.
The algorithms are weird.
I can't work it out.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think it's just luck.
I also
No?
think it's just, like you said, it comes down to things just like consistency. Like you've got that really good consistency, but like you said, it's also that quality of content and you're giving people a reason to stick around when you bring that value.
Yeah. Make it entertaining, I think.
Yeah.
And I used to religiously try and post at a particular time of the day and all this sort of stuff. I've worked out it really kind of doesn't matter from what I can see.
Yeah.
I like to launch my stuff either just before lunch, just before the school pickup at 2:30.
Yep.
A lot of mums and
Smart.
dads sit in the car, scrolling through, waiting for the kids to come out.
Yeah.
And then 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. I think
Awesome.
if you can get those time zones, you're pretty good.
I agree.
And if you can get up early enough and do something that's sort of 6 o'clock and get
Yeah.
everyone as they just get out of bed with their coffee, scrolling through.
Another good
Before
one.
the kids wake up, that's another good time as well.
Yeah.
I'm not normally up that early, but and I very rarely schedule. I'll do it all myself.
That was my
And
next
I-
question. Yeah.
And I do it on feel.
Yeah.
do I feel like talking about this today? Because I have a big bank of stuff.
Yeah, so that was my thing. So do you have a big bank that you filmed
big library of
previously?
stuff that I've
Awesome.
done, and I'll just flog it out as I feel fit.
Yeah, best way to do it.
Yeah, I schedule once. I know I won't hold you up time wise.
No,
but,
you're good.
I was walking along Tenerife, I think it was,
Yeah.
and I recorded myself. I was doing vendor calls,
Oh, okay.
calling people up.
Yeah, one of your favorite things to do.
Oh, one of my favourite things to do. Hey guys, great interest. We're not getting interest. We need to readjust the price. We need to up this. We need to remove that. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Talk to all my owners as I was walking, get my steps up because I try and get 10,000 steps up a day. And so I thought, at that particular time, I thought I'll record myself doing this. It might be inspirational to my team and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've done the old, making vendor callbacks, blah blah blah, all that wank stuff.
Yeah.
And I decided I won't post it just now because it was the wrong time and I had other things. So I was like legitimately calling people back, and I wanted to prioritise that.
Yeah.
So when I got back to the car, I scheduled it
Oh, yeah.
to be set.
Yeah.
I think it was 4 o'clock the next day or whatever, or a couple of days' time.
Yeah.
And of course, it was a really sunny day when I did this, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the day I scheduled it for was pissing down
Oh,
rain.
of course it was. Yeah.
So people go, "Where are you, Dave? That's a nice sunny place."
Yeah, I don't know where he is, but that's where I want to be.
So I thought, no more scheduling for me.
Yeah.
Rookie error.
Yeah, we're all miserable and he's out there living the best.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess the last thing is, I guess, what's the goal? What is the next 5 years sort of, I guess, plan for you, and where do you see your career going in that aspect?
Yep. So we're definitely in growth mode.
Awesome.
I've been running Remax Now for... Remax Now is actually the name of the place, not Remax Now.
Yeah.
Run that for a couple of years now. And being a new business owner, going from sales to a business owner, certain things you've got to learn and trial and error.
Yeah.
You make mistakes and you lose money. You make some good things and you make some money, So it's been trial and error for a couple of years.
Yep.
We're in a pretty good space now. We've got the business set up beautifully.
Yeah.
So we can actually scale really high and not break a sweat.
Awesome.
So
how have you found that experience of like the sales into the business owner now?
Yeah, daunting.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a business person per se.
Yeah.
I'm not designed that way.
Yeah.
But I've had to learn to.
Yeah.
Because for me to be where I want to be in the future, business ownership and leveraging that
Yes.
is the only way I want to scale.
Yep.
So I've had to learn, and there's still a lot of heebie-jeebie stuff out there that just doesn't make it. May as well be written in Japanese.
Yeah.
But I just pay people to do it for me. I've a
That's
great
it.
accountant, great advisors, stuff like that. So they help me out.
Awesome.
But all I got to do is be good with people, good with staff,
Yes.
and everything else takes care of itself. The money will come.
That's it.
And we're learning that now. So now that I've got confidence in what we do works, we can now scale.
Epic.
So the future for me is it's purely attention.
Yeah.
All I want's attention. I want people to know who I am and what I do, so that when the time comes for them to engage the services my business offering does,
Top of mind.
I'm top of mind.
Love that.
That's all I'm interested in. Listing and selling, that my team do that. I'm business in, they're business out. So I'm just a lead generating prospecting machine.
Yeah.
The face of the business. Everyone comes to me for trusted advice,
Yeah.
and then my team get the job done.
I mean, I think that's amazing, and that's where everyone wants to be, right? Everyone wants to be the business that everyone wants to work at, the one that all the sellers want to be with, the buyers want to come to.
Yep.
It's the best way to be.
Absolutely. And having it scalable like that, see, if people come to me to help them sell or for advice or whatever, I don't want them then thinking they just get chucked to the side.
Yeah.
I'm still intimately involved with everything.
Yes.
It's just that I can't be everywhere at once. So I have like Cam's basically like a business partner. He and I do everything together.
Yeah.
He's been with me for 5 years now. He is an absolute gun.
Yeah.
Like where his future's going blows your mind away.
That's awesome. I've seen him on the socials. He's a weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's brilliant. So we figured if he's so good at that,
Yeah.
he should just be doing that 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And if I'm really good at what I'm doing, bringing business in and being the face of the business and getting my name in, I should just be concentrating on that.
Yeah.
So I bring it all in, he processes it and moves it all out.
Yeah, I love it.
It works beautifully. And then we'll recruit, get lots of young, up-and-coming rising stars, and do the same for them.
Awesome.
So everyone's on the same path, everyone's doing well, and that's how we'll scale. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting, mate.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can see how excited you are.
Yeah,
like,
it'll
on
be
your face.
good.
Like, I'm pumped.
I can say with confidence now, before it was a dream,
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure how it would work.
Yeah.
But now I know how it'll work.
Yeah.
Because we've trialed and tested in the background, and now it's just doing it.
Yeah. So what was that switch, you reckon, that sort of then just been like, nah, we've got this, let's go?
When a few of the trial things that we did worked
Yeah.
seamlessly, and when we see other businesses that are technically nowhere but are doing okay as well,
Yes.
that's when we think to ourselves, we got this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So
Totally. Yeah.
it's just
Like, if they're doing that, like, we're
mate,
home
what
run.
can we do? Yeah, and like we can be really good at something, but
Yeah.
if people don't know who we are, they're never going to call us in.
That's it.
So that's why the whole attention thing's massive to me.
Yeah.
Like we're really good at what we do,
Yeah.
without sounding stupid about it. No. And there's lots of other agents out there that are excellent as well. We're not isolated, but we are really good at what we do. But if you don't know who we are, you're not going to call us in.
That's it.
So my job is to be a household name
Yeah.
for our business in our area.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's the goal. So we're really excited.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how that is one of the biggest forms of currency these days, is attention and eyeballs.
Oh,
It's
massively
ridiculous.
so. Well, see, the money comes.
Yeah.
It's like on Instagram. The amount of people, and we were talking about this when we were having a coffee together,
Yeah.
the amount of people that reach out to me that say, hey, listen, Dave, my mum's selling or my brother's selling or whatever, a work colleague of mine selling, would you take on a listing in such and such a suburb? And I go, of course we would. And they go, oh, we didn't know if you'd be allowed to, or we didn't know if you service that area.
Yeah.
No, we sell the whole side of Brisbane.
Yeah.
But people
awesome.
don't realise that. See, so through socials,
Yeah.
people have gotten to know that.
Yeah.
So business just keeps going and going and going. So
Amazing. Well, I think that is pretty much a great sort of point to wrap up there. Just in terms of if anyone does want to find you on socials, where can they find you?
yeah, my name, David Kopelke. So Instagram handles at David Kopelke, YouTube's David Kopelke YouTube, TikTok's David Kopelke, Facebook's David Kopelke remake.
So just confirming it's
just
all
Google
David
David Kopelke, you'll be fine.
That's it. No, well, honestly, I really appreciate you coming on and giving
My
so
pleasure,
much
mate.
advice. I'm sure loads of people are going to get value out of this.
Yeah, I hope
And,
so too. And then look, if you want to find out anything, just DM me.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy to answer any questions you might have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you have it, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Big Business Energy, and we'll see you on the next one.
Pleasure.
Cool.
Done.
Happy days.
Well, that was good, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Watch me now. Watch me now.